Hey, welcome back to the channel. All right, you know that I initially pulled Cassie. I awakened her, took her to rank 4 right away. She was phenomenal. A lot of time has gone by, but now I've gotten a chance to use her. We've got a lot of fights to get to. I'm going to talk to you about how to use her, how to play her, and show you how great and how many champions this champion in one Cassie can handle. Now we're going to start off here. This is a rank 5 absorbing man tier 1 war boss. This is SSX versus JA from none other than my boy Crisp. You saw it in the last war video. Now I want to show you this. This is going to be a slightly larger health pool, and we're going to talk about a lot of things here. Now this is a rank 5 Cassie Lang, and you can see Crisp is using that miss mechanic right from holding the heavy. Now the purple thing, and I'm going to make sure I get the terms right here, that's Pim Particle. She's going to get that whenever she prevents a buff via an immunity or causes the opponent's special attacks to miss. Crisp is a phenomenal player. You see, he's a better Cassie player than I am, so he's going to do a great job of this and just keeping those power stings going. Now, one of the things I love about Cassie is that her power stings refresh on their own when the opponent throws a special. So you saw that, right? And it makes it so much easier, let's say, when you can play at Crisp's level or even at the level I play at. You're gonna see that here, that you can keep them going. Now, he's got his Awaken. I believe that's gonna allow him to get up to 40 power stings, and he is actually going to do it. The SP1 increases, which he's throwing right now, increases the combat power rate of the defender, right? And that's a really great design. It makes her flow so much better because it's helping make sure that when you throw that SP1, you are pushing them over a bar of power, and it also lands that beautiful taunt. Now, I know some of you are like, hey, wait a minute, isn't that going to get nerfed and all that? We will talk about it, and I'm going to show you some fights showing how tanky she is. And yes, it is going to get changed or nerfed or reverted basically to where they intended it to be. But if you spec into the Inequity Mastery on the defensive side, and if you're running Science Champions or you're playing high tier Battlegrounds, you probably want to spec into it anyways. And yes, 3 out of 3 do the full thing. She's going to get to that same level of tankiness when you get up a couple of debuffs and the taunt anyway. So it's a beautiful thing. You can see, look at this. Crisp now has the full 40, and he's been doing a phenomenal job of ending a combo in a light. He just did it there that puts the poison up, and I want to read this to you. While this poison is active, Cassie's taunt and power stings on the opponent fall off 80% slower, including effects that are already active. So that's going to help you keep up your taunt and your power stings. He doesn't even go to the SP2 for that nice big damage that can happen there because he doesn't need to. It's not working in the flow of the fight. Now let's go back to that. It was a really great, thank you for that display there, Crisp. And that can show you, that's a big health pool, rank 5 war boss. Pressure is on. Handles it like a champ. Cassie can do it, especially in Crisp's hands. Now we're moving on to mine. Now, just so you can know the level that we're talking about in Battlegrounds, right? If I can do this, you can do this. This is in Celestial tier here against this this Rintra here with 249, so basically 250,000 health. And you're gonna see I'm not quite as skilled as Chris here, but I'm gonna go in. I like to go in and I like to land a series of hits, because one of the things that can happen is if you go to hold your heavy and you go to trigger that miss, if the defender gets really passive and they just back up, you can get into a little bit of trouble, right? You can see that like kind of energy battery there right now, it's about 220 or something like that. It's gonna constantly be moving up and down. If that gets to 0 and you're still shrunk down like this, you'll get stunned. So you don't wanna do that. I think it's a nice safety measure there. You see right there, the taunt, and then the stings, as we talked about, they just get refreshed. Now I should go in and, oh, I used my striker, so you can use your striker, which you can't do in war. But you can see I did land the poison. Really not a great use of that to then use my striker too. Kind of wasted some of that time, but that's fine. We've got the 30 power stings, and I think I'm gonna lose him here. Nope, got really lucky. That's me getting lucky there. I should have gone ahead and thrown the SP1 to get the taunt up, or thrown and ended with a light to get the pause. As you can see, like I said, I am not the best player, but that's the tankiness of Cassie coming in. And just so you know, even once she's quote unquote fixed, when I have the taunt up and I have up those 30 power stings, you don't even need to have 30. I think you only need to have 6 or 7. You're still going to have that level of tankiness, reducing the attack power of the defender by a significant margin. Now, again, as I said, I've lost my power stings quite a bit here. You can see they're falling off. So if I had been able to keep the momentum going, if I had been able to keep Ranger from going unstoppable, this would have ended. But we're going to throw this to SP2. We're not going to have those big crits because we don't have the taunt up. I believe you do need to have that. Yeah, I checked in. You still get a big attack rating for each power sting that's on the opponent, but the guaranteed critical hits is if you have up the taunt. Now, another very tough defender that she's phenomenal for, because remember, we haven't even talked about some other parts of her kit yet, is she is buff immune. And I love this because this happens to be an incredibly powerful champion that's also buff immune. And keep that in mind too when you're trying to build a Pim particle, right? If you're like, well, this champion's not placing buffs on me or anything like that, you can get it just from the deck. So that's like how I've gotten it there. If Ma had thrown his SP1, he would have tried to put that Fury on me. And this just is a really ideal matchup for her because you want to be knocking him down with the heavies anyway to prevent him from going into Black Tongue or getting the nice big falters up. There, I ended a combo in a light to get the poison, as we know. So remember, I'm going to say it again. When the poison is active, Cassie's taunt power stings on the opponent fall 80% slower. So that's helping keep them up there, keep them elongated. There's the really nice advanced combat power rate off of the SP1. As you can see, I did not get my spacing well there at all. So that's on me. But as I said, I am not the greatest player. But if I can do this, you can do this. And I used her to get all the way up to the Celestial tier in this season of Battlegrounds. So there you go, score 51,509. With a mistake being made, her tankiness coming in, helping me out. Now, all right, now we got this fight here against my own alliance mates, Rai. I think we were both trying to get into Celestial at this point. So this wasn't a duel. This was a real match here where we both badly wanted to win. I think you're starting to get definitely the concept here on how to get that initial opening. It can go a little sideways, so you want to get comfortable with that. I do really believe in attacking into them, trying to make sure that AI attacks back into you. Now, as one of the difference, I do want to point this out, is you're seeing I'm achieving these results and I'm not using the heavy miss mechanic during the specials of the defender. You saw Chris do it. So as you get more comfortable with her, as you surpass the fight level that you're seeing me display, you're going to get even quicker results than I'm getting right now to help you keep the power stings up, and it'll help you increase the stack of the power stings. Like right there, you saw that was a nice way to get like 10 additional ones. Sasquatch throws his special. Now we're at 22. They're nicely refreshed. We should go in. And yeah, I ended it in my light. I don't know if I really need to do that. Again, that's just getting used to the champion, because I was going to throw the SP1 anyway, which is going to give the taunt. So you want to get really good at using your Pim particles. Yeah, the Pim particles, I want to make sure you're using the correct term. You want to get sure that you're used to using them efficiently, and that'll help you just make sure you keep those power stings up and they won't fall off like you saw in the previous fight. But we're coming down in now, and I think as soon as this Sasquatch throws his next special, we've got him. He's dead here now, right? So there we go. It was a big, beefy Sasquatch. Rai really likes him as a defender. I think I even surprised Rai a little bit here with that result. Score 49,345. Mine's a rank 4 Cassie. Took the screenshot. I was very excited about that. Share that in the Alliance chat. So these are the kinds of results you can get out of her in Battlegrounds. And then once you get more comfortable with her, more comfortable than I currently am, you're going to start using the miss mechanic during the specials of the defender, and that's going to help you increase your time, and those scores are going to go up to like 50, 51, something like that. And especially if you take your Cassie to rank 5, which is something I will very much consider doing. Now, some of you may have seen this in a war video of mine. We're going against this Hazard Shift Incinerate as poison. We already talked about she is immune to the poison. We had not taken this fight yet. In fact, this was a little bit of a, we just kind of ended up in this situation, and I was assigned this node with a different champion, and I was like, I think Cassie can do this. And we were still really concerned about her whiffing and that sort of thing. So hopefully that gets fixed soon too. And then we realized we took this, and you're gonna see pretty early on, I'm just trying to get in my initial heavy, my initial hold heavy and get up some power stings. And I was like, and then I'm just gonna keep those refreshed. I'm not even gonna try. So like right there, you can see I'm still at the beginning of my Cassie experience, let's call it, because I would not suggest how I just went about doing it. But now I've got my 7 up, and that's all I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna try to keep my 7 power stings up. And then one of the really cool things about this matchup is Spider Supreme is trying to put those buffs on us. So you're gonna see the Pim particles just keep growing. So any defender like this or any node like this, it's trying to put buffs on you. Remember, when she prevents a buff from her own immunities, which could be the buff from Dex or something like this, a node or a defender, it's gonna help you keep your Pim particles going. And that's literally all I'm going to do. And we're gonna get this fight down very, very quick. Now, Spidey Supreme doesn't have a huge health pool, so I don't wanna overstate it, but this is war. So that health pool is actually pretty darn large. And then also, the other thing that some of you are probably noticing is I have like 2 to 3 of these incinerates on me at a time, and I'm actually healing up from them. She is so tanky. And yes, it is going to change slightly, but that maximum tankiness is still going to be available. Like I said, back into inequity. You probably want to do it anyway if you're trying to play high tier battlegrounds and you're using your defender science champions. It's going to save you a lot. It's going to make your defenders tankier, but it's going to make a Cassie so outrageously tanky as soon as you get that taunt up and a few debuffs. And you can see less than 2 minutes here. You know, if he had thrown a special right away, it'd be 1 minute and 45 seconds, and the Spider Supreme would have been dead. And like I said, not the largest health pool, but this was a mini boss island Spider Supreme, so his health pool was plenty big. I love this champion. I think her flow is so good. And I think without the buff immunity, she would already be a great champion. And having the buff immunity just takes her up a notch. You're definitely going to see her promoted the next time I do my monthly tier list. And she's going to be promoted, or you'll see. I'm doing the top 10 of each class this month. Something fun we're doing in December and in June. And I think she's going to show up a lot higher than people expect. Now, this one, I'm always honest with you guys. My videos aren't about how good I am as a player. They're about the champions, right? And a lot of times, like, if I can do this, then you can do this. Well, here's another example of this. I've fought a couple of Dooms with her before. And yeah, you're going to see, like, I didn't do that well. You can do that SP2 punish better in that you come in early. Mike, I think, showed it on his deep dive with her. So if you're interested in how to really do it, go and check out the MCoC channels and the deep dive of her. I believe Mike showed it really well there. Maybe he did it on his own channel. Either way, check that out. But so if I had that spacing better and I had that timing better, this fight would go even faster. And you're going to see me make a mistake. But what I wanted to show you was that you can use it for Dooms as well. The one trick I will, and I can impart on you, is you don't want that. What literally just happened. And that's something that you got to get used to. And you can see I'm still kind of working it out. I should end in like there. Good, I did. To keep the power stings up. But you don't want him throwing that SP1 because she has no way to handle the aura. And so that's going to give that. And then when you try to land your heavy or a special, he's going to resist it. And that's no good for anyone. Fortunately for me, I was able to get my pin particles going. So I was able to get that light ending and the poison, which, as we know, increases the duration, or the opponent fall off 80% slower. I've said it a bunch of times, but I want to make sure I get it right. And then you saw the SP3 there. Cost me more time. I didn't ideally want to get to it, but it felt good. You get a nice crush there, debuff, and then you get a really nice big fury too. So if you needed that, that's might not be a terrible way to go. Maybe that actually would be an interesting way to take Doom. But I think the smarter way would be to learn his SP2 punish really, really well and handle it from there. And then this is what I was saying. Now here's the immunities coming in. This was our final war of the season here. SSX ended up with a phenomenal season, and we had a bit of a rough start there, but I think we won 7 in a row or something like that. So it's a really nice finish. Going to finish in top 10 in Masters once they fix the scoreboard and all that. So pretty pumped up on that. And this was one of my 2 final fights of the season, going up against this Immortal Abomination. And I'm showing you this essentially for a couple of reasons. One, I thought it was a very cool fight. And 2, I actually do get to the SP2. The thing is, Mortal Abomination was already well on his way to dead by the time we get it, but I do get it with the taunt up, so you can see those guaranteed critical hits. But here's the other thing is, this is a champion that's trying to place poison on you, right? Often you're taking him in, you know, Archangel would be great too, but your skill champions or someone who's poison immune, well, you now have one more poison immune option in Cassie Lang, also immune to shock, also immune to buffs, power stings. The only thing that really slows her down or can just flat out stop her, to the best of my testing so far, and like I said, she was an absolute MVP for me this whole Battleground season, is if a champion can get rid of her debuffs. And that's good. I think it's important that these champions have like some sort of weakness. We don't want them to be able to take every single fight in the game. And so that's it, right? So those skill champions, you know, your Mole Mans, your Kingpins or something like that, that's going to be a bad time for you because they don't turn into passives. They don't stun the champion or anything like that. But there you go. And then I got to the SP2. You can see I didn't have a ton of my power stings up. I think that's more of like a finishing move if you're able to build up a lot of power stings, or just like there, you're me and you want to have a lot of fun and you know you're going to put it on the YouTube video. So you do that and you get those guaranteed critical hits. And then, like I said, she's a sneaky defender because she's got 2 immunities, right? The shock and then the poison. You can use her in Battlegrounds, and you can kind of, you know, your opponent, the way you play the chess match of Battlegrounds, you can put her in there. And then also with her signature ability, and I'm looking at it right now, it's from a 3 to 9% chance to evade, which isn't enough, a ton. So this isn't like Spider-Man, but it's enough to be annoying. I've been caught by it myself too. I hope you love Cassie as much as I do. Okay, and I was so excited to get to all the Cassie stuff that I actually forgot something. On the thumbnail, there's Quicksilver. She's phenomenal for Quicksilver. I was not able to find that matchup or to create that matchup for you. No one would place Quicksilver on defense, but I happen to know she's fantastic. Keep an eye on Bittersteel's channel. Bittersteel, the link will be in the description. I know that he's going to put that out in the next, I don't know, week or two. She's really awesome. Think about it when you really think about how it could possibly work out with her shrinking down mechanic. She's great, everyone. I will definitely be promoting her. I think she's one of the best science champions in the game. And like I said multiple times, I was able to produce those results, and on watching all this back, can see plenty of opportunities where I have room to improve. Crisp has her down cold. I'm going to keep watching his videos, learn from him, and then I'll get more and more information out to you. Let me know what you think we got right, what you think we got wrong. Hopefully, if you already liked her, you now love her. If you already loved her, you're like, yes, thank you. And if you didn't like her at all, you've watched this and you're like, all right, I see what you're talking about. I'm gonna have to give her another try. Thank you so much for watching. Take care.